From a very early age, I've rolled bait. You know, as you do when you're a kid, you think that bait's the be all and end all of everything. You know, if you don't catch, you blame it on your bait as such. But yeah, as a kid, you know, going back to when I was sort of 16, 17, I caught my first ever 30 on a home rolled essential opal with Hutchinson Scopex and Frutella, so blackcurrant and Scopex. Conningbrook, when I fished at Conningbrook, I home rolled my my cork ball pop-ups there, which was Scopex squid, straight round a 10mm cork ball. And again, when I fished a little state lake near me, I used to make these Scopex squid all season wafters, which were 10mm ball inside an 18mm bait, and they just were a size 8 hook. They just sunk, and those fish were probably some of the most finicky that I've ever fished for. And I found that sort of the higher tracked sort of hook baits definitely caught, but they caught smaller fish, whereas the actual real food, that what they were used to being fed, definitely seemed to pick out the bigger fish. And that was, you know, over 5 or 6 winters I sort of tweaked things a little bit, from using, say, a white strawberry straight out the tub bait to a wafter that absolutely matched the situation, you know, a slow sinking bait that mimicked what had been going in the water. And yeah, on the final season, you know, once I'd come to the final path, the final conclusion, you know, I really had my way with it. Once I'm fishing a particular venue, you know, I come to understand what sort of rig I'm going to be using, what sort of bottom I'm fishing over, what sort of clarity I'm fishing in, and then I sort of fine tune exactly what I want to do. So if it's a wafter that I want and I'm going to be fishing with different size hook baits, for example, you know, I can match. It's not a case of making do. I can make exactly what I want for any given situation. So obviously I do use tub pop-ups and tubbed wafters and that from time to time, but there are sort of times when I'm concentrating on one venue and I get an idea in my mind of exactly what I'm trying to achieve, and that's when making your own really comes into its own. The banoffee recipe, that came quite a while later. I think I was working for Korda just about then, sort of the early, I'd say, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. I'm 37 now, so I was around 26, 27 years old, and was doing the Carp Fest event for Korda, where we used to go all around the country putting up marquees and demonstrating bait and tackle and all of that sort of caper. And there was a young lad called Jamie Greening, and he was one of his sort of specials that he used to roll up with these banoffee pop-ups. They were like pink and beige, you know, like a combo, those ones where you see different coloured baits. And he showed Dan these, and then Dan started rolling these banoffee wafters for Gigantica. I can't remember what year it was he fished there. I think it was around 2010, and he had a really good session on one of the 3 DVDs. He caught, I think he had a 70-pounder, he had some 60s, a 50, yeah, he had a really good session. And then following on from that, Mainline started specifically rolling these 18 to 20mm white cell banoffee wafters. So they're half cell base mix or part cell base mix, and then part Polaris mix with the banoffee combination on top. And these baits caught everything from Gigantica, and I mean absolutely everything, some of them 10 times or more. And you think that if everyone's using 18, 20mm white wafters, the fish would become wary of them. But the thing is, when you're feeding loads of, say, cell, for example, and it's going in all around the lake, they're washing out, they're becoming that pale colour, and they mimic that so well that they just lend themselves to that particular style of fishing. And I remember I fished them after Dan at Gigantica, and I caught rakes of fish at Gigantica, and I also fished them at Graviers. I used them there, the Gigantica ones, you know, straight out of the tub, and I caught a 60-pounder from Graviers as well on them. So it was quite a few years later that I started, say, fishing in Europe myself. And I remember I was fishing Burfield in 2014, and had a little sort of, well, say a spring campaign on there. I can't remember any nights, maybe 30, 40 nights. And then the first day that I had to be away from the lake as such, I had to go filming. So I've gone to Belgium with Dan, hadn't even got to Belgium, don't even know what sort of lake I'm going to, and Dave Lane caught the Burfield Common.